if it wasn't put into action. So that's why it takes concentration, because concentration is the bridge between thought and action. That's why.
Yeah, I agree with all of that. One more thing that I heard in this YouTube video that I was listening to, they were talking about the story of the potter's wheel. And in the story of the potter's wheel, the parable of the potter's wheel, a man goes to the potter's house and the potter is making a vessel, and the vessel's all messed up, and he doesn't throw it away. He just pounds it down into a lump of clay again. He starts all the way over and he rebuilds it into something that's beautiful. And then he has to put it through the fire for it to be actually fully set. Well, come to find out that the word potter is the word imagination in Hebrew and Greek. So if you and I are the vessel, the way that we reshape ourselves is through our imagination. It's through reimagining ourselves. It's through sometimes pounding ourselves back down to our basics and then reshaping ourselves completely from scratch. And then sometimes going through the fire so that we get set, so that we get finished, so that we get firm. And then we are that finished product. So you can't talk about concentration really without talking about the imagination. You have to literally grab hold of your imagination and use it to reimagine yourself and to put yourself in a situation mentally and emotionally where you are really in tune with where you want to be. Even today, my sons are not exactly where I want them to be. And I still today will say affirmations over them. I will say, that God's will is coming to pass in their life, that whatever I see that bothers me, I'm not focusing on that. I'm going to imagine them the way I want to see them. So I'm just going to speak. So, Facebook audience, I see this young man over here as a business person, an entrepreneur, someone who is going to train others, someone who is going to speak to others, someone who's going to lead and guide others, someone who's going to be creating all kind of projects and products, someone who is going to be in the boardroom with a suit on, or if he chooses not to have a suit, with his own logo, however he wants to dress. But he's going to be saying, you go here, you go here, you go here, you go here, you do this, you do this, you do this. Go back to his office, get on his phone, and do whatever he needs to do. That's what I see when I look at my son. I do not see my son as anybody's employee. Not because he can't take directions, but to be honest, he doesn't have an employee mentality. He was raised to think for himself. He was raised to visualize. He was raised to plan. He was raised to strategize. That's what he does. So anything less that he's doing may be reality, but it's not the truth. So the truth of what I put into him and what I feel God put into him is that his name is Elijah. What did Elijah do? Elijah was a prophet. What do prophets do? They see the future. They imagine the future. They speak the future. Even when nobody believes them and even when nobody else sees it, they still do it. And what they say comes to pass. That's what my son was named for. That's who my son is. So anything that he has in his present life that doesn't line up with that may be reality, but it's not truth. And truth always trumps reality, So I believe that the truth, will make my son free. I believe that the truth will mold and shape him, and he will mold and shape himself into becoming everything he can be. And as his mother, that's the standard that I have for him. Now, whatever he does, I will love him. There's nothing he can do. I told him when he was probably 4 or 5 years old, there's nothing you can do to stop me from loving you. I love you regardless. I love you if you're, laying in the gutter, in your own vomit because you being stupid, and you just passed out drunk. I love you. Not to say he's ever done that. I love you, regardless of whatever, but when I look at you, that's what I see. When I look at you, that's what I see. That is the vision. People say, write the vision and make it plain. Also, speak the vision and make it plain. Tell people, so as a parent, I feel that every parent has to have a vision for their child, and the vision is not necessarily for them to go into a certain field. It's for them to accomplish their potential and be happy. I want my son to be absolutely happy, at peace, Zennurgized, to be the full expression of himself, and to be completely happy and fulfilled in every area of life, and healthy and whole and all those things, So, and when he was in the hospital and I was beside him, that was his reality. And his reality was the doctor said he could have had a colostomy bag. And I said, that's not his truth. The reality was that he could have been paralyzed. That was not his truth. The reality was, he got shot, in case you haven't figured that out, Facebook audience. So the reality was he could have been paralyzed. That was not his truth. The reality was he could have never walked again. That was not his truth. His truth was that he was going to recover. It was going to be difficult. It was going to be painful. It was going to be lonely. It was going to be hard. It was going to be something that he still deals with to this day to a certain degree because he still has scars. But his truth is also that he's an overcomer. He's a survivor, And his truth is that when he speaks about his experiences, and he did it at one of my live shows, people are changed and people are impacted. And that's also his gift. That's not a gift that I even visualize for him because I never visualized him having that particular experience. But concentration, concentrating on the future that you want for your kids and telling them, their goodness and their worth is very powerful. Even when you see them acting a fool, that you see more for them and you see better for them. And even today, I'm still encouraging him to be everything. And also to realize that growth isn't always pretty. Growth isn't always pleasant. Sometimes growth is difficult and ugly, but it's worth it.